2007, Greg and Lauren came by my parents' place in Aromas. They're getting ready to move out to Arizona, and a few weeks before moving out there, Greg came out just to hang out, see my gym that I had set up at the ranch. We were walking around, and Greg says something to me like, "Wouldn't it be cool to do a competition here? Wouldn't it be cool to have an event here?" And I said, "Yeah, that would be kind of cool." He mentioned how he's always wanted to do that, but he never got around to it, or never really created a CrossFit event of a big scale. So we talked a little, and we decided, yeah, let's run a competition here, and we'll do it in the summertime. And his guidance was, let's make it like the Woodstock of fitness. With that mindset, we started to plan the first ever CrossFit Games. We went back and forth on what we were going to call it. You know, the Woodstock of fitness was one idea. That didn't stick too well. Some other people threw out some other ideas, and the games someone tossed it out there, why don't we call it the CrossFit Games? And at first it wasn't received well within our core group. We discussed it some more, and then finally decided, yeah, let's try this. Let's call it the CrossFit Games. We started organizing it and started planning it, and we knew it was going to be small, and set the date for, I think it was second or third weekend of July of 07, and started getting some interest from some of the Canadian competitors at the time. So it was a really exciting international event already in 07 in our eyes. We had the Canadians coming down for the weekend to compete against our best, we had, Josh was competing that year, and Jeremy Thiel, and there was a few others at that point who were unknown who were competing. July rolls around, and we had about 70 competitors total signed up between men and women, and about 150 spectators, maybe more, actually come and show up to the event. And it was a really small competition. It was just a bunch of people out there looking to have fun, looking to do some workouts, not knowing where it was going to go from there. Now I characterize it as the beginning. It was the beginning of something unknown, something bigger than we thought we were on to. I had no idea where the games and the competition aspect of CrossFit were going to take us to. If you would have asked me in 2007, after that event, what the future of the games were, I would have told you, yeah, it was really fun and exciting, and we had a good time, and maybe we'll do this year in and year out. But it was truly the beginning of this storm of competition that was about to engulf us. There's a couple things that defined that year for me. One was Chris Spieler. We didn't know about him back then. We didn't really know who he was or how good of a CrossFitter he was until that event. He came out of nowhere and did really well. If it wasn't for the CrossFit total, I don't know what the rankings would have ended up being, but he would have finished a lot higher. At the time, he was 135 pounds, and he did the first workout of the event, which was a hopper workout he probably had the second or third fastest time of the weekend. And to have the second or third fastest time of the weekend, you were getting faster time. You had a faster time than people like Josh Everett, OPT, and some of these other guys that were there. So he burst onto the scene in a major way. That was one thing that stuck out to me, was his performance. Another thing that stuck out to me was the way the event ended. It ended on Josh Everett attempting 570 pounds for it. It would have been his PR at the time, and it would have been for him to win the competition in the CrossFit Total. He didn't make the lift, but the energy that was in there when he was attempting that weight, it was unbelievable. Another defining moment of the whole event, defining characteristic, was the CrossFit Total and the two approaches we had to it. One approach was we had the top 20 athletes, men and women, inside the shop going through the legit scoring with each platform had like 6 or 7 judges, and just all this logistics to support 2 people lifting at a time. And then outside of the shop, we had the ghetto CrossFit Total going on, which was more in line with what we are, which is more in line with CrossFit. And what I mean is, in what we are is it was a bunch of people out there drinking beer, lifting weights, having fun with one judge. And in that year, in '07, that was the appropriate way to do it, and it worked really well out there. And you watched people, Connor Banks back squatting I forgot how much it was, I think it was over 500 pounds, and Freddie had a huge press at the time, over 200 pounds, and it was just exciting. There was a lot of energy watching our version of the total versus we'll call the sanctioned version of the total going on inside. The first workout of the event was a hopper workout. We determined the workout by spinning a hopper. It was the first true hopper competition in the games, and we drew from the hopper. Heavy push jerks came out, and I think it was pull-ups. I don't know if we pulled pull-ups out or if we just chose pull-ups, but so the workout ended up being 1,000 meters. Then it was 7 heavy push jerks. At the time it was 135 pounds, and then 25 pull-ups, 5 rounds of that. Row the 1,000, then the couplet was 5 rounds all on its own. And 7 push jerks at 135 pounds, that was Chris Spieler's body weight. So during that heat, we had stacked the heats to where Josh, AFT, and OPT were all in the same heat at the end, but the heat prior to that had Chris Spieler and Freddie was in that heat. At the time, I didn't know Chris Spieler, but I remember Freddie about to finish, and I was cheering him on. I'm like, hey, you're about to finish, you're going to have the fastest time in the heat. And someone taps me on the shoulder, a judge, and they go, hey, Chris Spieler, this guy over here, has been done for about 2 or 3 minutes. And I look over and I see him, and he's small, he's a little guy, and I'm like, that's not possible. I told someone, I'm like, check with him, because he might have done a round, he might have been short a round. I go, I don't know how he could have beat someone like Freddie's size or as strong as Freddie. And it turns out he really did do all 5 rounds, and he really was much faster than Freddie was on that workout. And Freddie did great on that workout, but it was just insane that this little guy came out of nowhere and clean and jerking his body weight for reps was able to beat most of the bigger guys. That performance to me stood out. The '07 Games programming was 3 workouts over 2 days, and we had one true CrossFit workout, which was the hopper. We decided we're going to put the hopper to test. So the first workout we didn't know what it was going to be, but the other 2 workouts we did that weekend. One was a long run, which was not as long as the run of the '09 Games, but which was still really long. And the third workout was the CrossFit total. Here was the reasoning behind that. We wanted to have one pure CrossFit thing, one running thing, and one strength thing. We gave a cash prize for each of those events. A lot of people don't remember that, but if you were first in the CrossFit workout, you got like a $500 cash prize. First in the total, you got a prize, and then first in the run, you got a prize. The reason we did that is we were hoping to draw, and it was such a small event, it was kind of lofty, we were hoping to draw people who weren't CrossFitters to do just the run. Maybe some local runners would come and try their hand on the run against CrossFitters, and then maybe some local strong guys would come and do just the CrossFit total against our athletes. The thing was, though, to be in contention for the cash prize, you had to have also done the 2 other events. So if someone from the running community came and crushed our run, for him to get the cash prize, he would have had to have done the CrossFit workout and the CrossFit total. It didn't turn out that anybody from those communities showed up. It was pure CrossFitters, and that was fine, and we still had a blast. But that was the thinking behind it. Pure CrossFit, run event, and a strength event.